All right, next topic. We did some hypothetical Cavs trades last week, and one of them caught fire, and we did over 1 million impressions on Twitter with it.
Wow.
And most people didn't like it, so that was awesome. But
Wait, what happened?
Somebody challenged me to do a dumber trade, and I feel like I can make it dumber.
Oh, we'll show you the clip after. Anthony and Earl came up with with two. Well, there's a whole. We're not, we'll get into it later. We don't have to get back into it. Watch Friday's show. It was maybe one of the funniest things we've ever done. I cried in your chair. I cried on Friday. Seriously. I literally had tears.
Did you come up with the trade or they came up with it?
I came up with 4. G had 1. Anthony had 1. And Earl had 1.
And the one they came up with did 1 million?
Yeah.
No. One of the ones I had. One of the ones I did.
Brag about it.
No, well, people didn't like it.
Talk your stuff.
People didn't like it. I'm not bragging. People didn't like the
What was the
Mavs
trade?
one. It was. First, real quick. We'll just say this before we get on. The segment was, if you're going to trade Jared Allen, what kind of packages could you get back for him? So I was looking at, I don't think you're going to get a star young wing back for Jared Allen. His trade value right now is at an all-time low. Mm-hmm. So I was looking to the Mavs, and I think it was Jared Allen and Dean Wade for Maxi Kleber, Reggie Bullock, and JaVale McGee. So you get 2 shooters and a backup big for essentially Jared Allen. The salaries matched up, and Mavs fans were like, sign me up. I do that ASAP. And every Mavs blog in the history of the world found it, retweeted it, and they were like, a Cleveland site is actually suggesting this, which we never suggested. We were just looking at options.
Yeah.
It is what it
but
is.
we like it because
I still think it makes sense.
I do too. I like it.
In hindsight, they'd have to throw us a pick, but I still think it works. All right. So today's hypothetical trade. Earl,
I
what's
think
up?
Earl has something to say.
Earl.
Tyvis, all you need to know is I got us Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. back. That's all you need to know.
That's actually
that's
really good. But for
bro.
Jared Allen?
You just.
It
was a 3-team trade. We'll show you later.
That's not bad.
The Rockets gave up everybody for JaVale McGee, essentially. The
There's no way that's happening.
You'll see. All right, so today's trade. Let me preface this before anyone clips it. This has not been offered. This is not necessarily realistic. This is completely hypothetical, but we are a sports show. We like to have fun, so guess what? We are going to talk about it, okay?
And Jason Lloyd told us was coming out playing.
No, Jason did not stop. Jason did not say that. Do not put Jason's name on that. This is completely hypothetical. We're going to do it just to have a little bit of fun here. It has picked up some traction on NBA Twitter.
All right.
The Celtics did win last night to save their season.
Okay.
They are now down 3-1 to the Heat, but Jaylen Brown is due for a Supermax contract after making the All-NBA second team this year. He is ready to sign a 5-year, $293 million deal.
Sheesh.
And there's a little bit of friction between him and Jason Tatum. Tatum's looked at as the alpha dog in Boston, but Jaylen Brown views himself as the alpha dog. So there's a little bit of friction there. So in the hypothetical world that Boston decides to break up their big two, hypothetical, once again, we are not suggesting this. We are not saying it's been asked. We are just simply posing the question. Would you trade Donovan Mitchell for Jaylen Brown straight up, excuse me?
You know, it's funny. A week ago, you asked me this question. We talked about it, and I said, sign me up for that today.
Yeah.
But as of lately, the way he's been playing, I'm not so sure anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. The one thing I like about Jaylen Brown is he's a two-way guy. He's an alpha dog. You know, he comes into the Cavs, and, you know, he'll be able to take the ball out of Darius Garland's hands at times. He'll be able to get you some points. He's been to the championship, so he got championship experience. It's a lot of good things, but when it's time to get a bucket or you need a big three, I'd rather give it to Donovan Mitchell. Now, the thing is this. You would have him locked up for 5 years or whatever. That's big right there. With Donovan Mitchell, we don't know what. We all know he loves New York. He wanted to be in New York. He thought he was going to New York. With his contract coming up in the next couple of years, you know, if this is an opportunity to look towards the future and build something, then I would not be opposed to them doing it because he is a great two-way player.
G?
Yeah, I mean, this is, and the reason you do it is because you take a look at, you know, let's look at the length. Your team is going to be better defensively. You have a true three. You got a guy that can hit threes. You got a guy that can play defense. You got a guy that's going to be longer, and you know, you're not giving up much athletically. You now can put the ball back in Darius Garland's hand where he can run pick and roll. He can have the ball most of the time. And you can go out and you do things. Also, you take a look at the next step involved with that. Now you look at a truly, if you made that move, you might not even really have to move off Jared Allen unless you got something that was tremendous. You know why? Because now you look at Jared Allen, you can say, okay, well, we can now move him to see if we can get another guy that is going to make us better as far as 3-point shooting. That's a move that you can make. But if you look at the team, you can either bring Jared Allen off the bench and keep him, and look for another guy to start that lineup. You get longer, you get better, you're under contract. I just think that is a better team for the Cavs in terms of what they look like in the East.
Yeah, I'll make the case for why they should and why they shouldn't. I don't think Boston would make that trade. I don't think Boston will. But if I'm the Cavs and that offer is on the table, I think you have to do it. Now, if you're asking me to rank who's a better player, Mitchell or Jaylen Brown, based on like 2K ratings, I do think Donovan Mitchell is a better player than Jaylen Brown. However, as Tyvis alluded to, there is some contractual uncertainty with Jaylen Brown. Listen, schoolboy T.Y. flipped his hat up. That means he means business for this next subject. That means we're talking LeBron in a little bit. He's getting his ears ready, the perks, and the satellites are starting to take in all the energy to channel into this LBJ
This is my Kung Lao look, man. Raiding off of Mortal Kombat. Kung Lao.
It's actually a good look. I'm not gonna. I think it's kind of fly. But with the contractual uncertainty of Donovan Mitchell, the age of Evan Mobley and his current progression, to take a guy out in Donovan Mitchell who, for better or worse, has 2 years on his contract, and switch him for a guy in Jaylen Brown who would have 5 years on his contract, puts you in a championship window for the Cavs that could be 5, 6, 7 years now, as opposed to you're kind of in win mode now, right now. What? And if you have Jaylen Brown, that gives you a guard in Garland, a wing in Jaylen Brown, and a big in Evan Mobley as your big three, as opposed to two little guards with Mitchell and Garland. So I think stylistically, it fits a little better with what the Cavs are doing. Contractually, it extends their championship window a few years. And I think Brown and Mitchell are pretty similar in terms of their overall ranks. I would put Mitchell a little above Jaylen Brown. He's been bad in this round of the playoffs. Like, he has not been good in this series. But for the Cavs, if this was on the table, I think they'd have to pull the trigger.
Well, they're not going to do that.
I mean, it's not going to happen.
Because they're in the same division, so they're not. But
if you're Boston, would you break them up, Tatum and Brown?
Depending on what the return is.
But I'm just saying,
if I could get Donovan Mitchell for 2 years, does that make them better? Yeah, because I think that Donovan would have to realize that Jason Tatum is better. And I'm the Robin, and I think that's where he would thrive at. I don't know if Donovan Mitchell is the number one. I think he's an unbelievable number two, though. And I think with the Cavs and with Utah, he's always been the number one. I think he needs to get the ball out of his hand and try to work that off ball, because I think if the best guy is not guarding him, he can take advantage of that. And I think you're right. If Jaylen Brown comes here, Darius Garland keeps the ball in his hand, which he thrives at. And
he gets better.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that would make both parties win. However, there's no way. I mean, Kobe Altman pulled it off once with the Kyrie thing, but I don't think that's happening ever again.
I'm gonna keep it real. They both better make a deal. I just keep telling people the NBA is different. Like, y'all better stop. Like, everybody feel like they got a window in an area that you can just maneuver in. I let you know. The Oklahoma City Thunder had KD, Harden, and Russ.
And Serge Ibaka.
And Serge in their prime.
And they broke it up.
In their prime.
That was dumb.
And they never won a doggone thing.
Nope.
All this window 5 year, we got it open. Ain't no windows open like that, bro. That is a myth. That's the biggest myth in sports, created by people that are writers. At the end of the day, the writers, they got a window. That window stove. I've heard about this window for the Boston Celtics, and they've had so many iterations of this window, and they ain't won a doggone thing. Now you down 3-1 to an 8 seed. At the end of the day, here's 2-3 ways you get better. Is your coach head and shoulders above anybody else? If you ain't got a top-notch coach, a top-3 coach, you're not winning.
That's half the problem right now.
Do you got top-notch elite talent?
They do.
Like, they got top.
They do.
But guess what? Is it head and shoulders above somebody else?
They should.
On paper, it's head and shoulders above the Heat.
Yeah. but that's what I'm saying. So if you get beat by the Heat 3-1, how could you come back with the same roster and feel like
it's insanity?
Because next year you could get beat by Milwaukee. Next year you could get smoked by, like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they lose to the Sixers or something. Like, they don't have head and shoulders, no Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph. They can sleepwalk and still beat you 4 straight. You ain't got enough talent like that, bro. So you got to make a move. What you doing?
Well, there's another Mitchell trade out there that was thrown on Twitter. And Anthony, you want to pull up that tag board? I'm curious what your guys' take is on this. It's from Ben Axelrod. He works upstairs. I think he was just messing around, and I know it's small, but theoretically speaking, would you trade Donovan Mitchell and Ricky Rubio for LeBron right now?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
No question.
Oh, I say no.
I say no too.
I say no.
Man,
I'll say no.
Well, tell me why yes, and I'll tell you why I say
crazy.
no.
Like,
why yes?
I mean, you got a guy who's about to. He ain't gonna play. He gonna play about 50-ish games next year, so that's one. So you ain't gonna have him for 32 other games. That's one. Yes, he's gonna come play. He gonna come playoff time. He gonna do his thing. But another problem is now you're handicapping Darius Garland yet again because you're taking the ball out of his hands, so he won't thrive anyways.
Bro, listen.
So it's literally you might as well keep Donovan Mitchell if you're gonna do that.
No disrespect to Darius Garland. He is not Steph. See, this is why we be this in Cleveland. We always overestimate. This is not Luka.
You're gonna change your whole roster for a guy that's gonna be here for 2 seasons.
Darius Garland is a nice player. If he was on Rockefeller Records,
he was the only one that showed up in the playoffs.
If he was on Rockefeller Records, this is Beanie Siegel.
Oh, he's a dog.
This is not Kanye West.
He's a dog.
Listen, like, come on, let's be clear. I'm just keeping it real. If you can get LeBron James to come back, by the way, the LeBron James that got a 40-point triple-double in a closeout game against a monsters Nuggets team, stop the games. If you can get LeBron to come back and do his thing, this team is now automatically going to the finals in the Eastern Conference. It is what it is. Now, here's your problem. You're not going to keep Donovan Mitchell anyway. Like, why won't anybody say this? Why will no one say this?
What?
As constituted, Donovan Mitchell is not resigning here. Kobe Altman has already said he's not making moves. Why is every basketball person tiptoeing around the fact that he has 1 year left?
That's why
you're not going to do anything.
That's why I traded for Jaylen Brown.
But
not LeBron. No, not for somebody. See, Jaylen Brown you got for 5 years. LeBron you got for maybe 2.
We just saw LeBron, and we talked about it yesterday.
Really 1, because he'd be under contract for 1, and he going wherever where Bronny goes.
LeBron is still a top 10, 15 player in this league, and he's probably even a little higher. He's probably top 6, 7, 8, but he can't turn it on for 82 games and be your number 1 alpha dog for a whole season.
We don't need that.
But this Cavs team does need.
We do.
They do need that. Like, if it's not him, who is it?
No, so this is what we keep. If you, that's why when people be mentioning Darius Garland's name like that, I'm saying if he gonna be all of that and you gonna give him that level of respect, then he better be here for 82 games getting his money off. Why can't
Darius Garland?
Why Darius Garland can't be that dude?
He was for a whole season. Not this past season, the season before that.
So why can't he be it if LeBron was here?
Because
LeBron's going to take the ball out of his hands. And we're going to be right back to Donovan Mitchell versus Darius Garland.
Darius Garland will have the ball in his hands plenty. LeBron James is not going to play off the ball, on the ball like that dominant, that late in his career.
LeBron can't shoot anymore.
LeBron James literally just did a whole playoff series where he only had 1 game where he went for above 23 points. What are you talking about? He's literally just facilitating. He's a point guard.
I just saw him get 40 yesterday.
Out of 4 games, he had 1 game where he went over 23 points.
You gotta understand, bro. This is the thing. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about the LeBron game, right? People be like, yo, he got to get Anthony Davis involved. He can't be taking all the shots. He get people involved and be a facilitator. Cool, if that's what you want to do. Anthony Davis, at this point in his career, is supposed to be far and by away the best player in the roster.
Yes,
the problem is he's not.
That's a fact.
And that's why they don't win. Now, can LeBron play that way for all those minutes? No, he can't. But where you can get LeBron, and why LeBron makes sense, is because Darius Garland can catch and shoot. Darius Garland will have the ball a lot. And if this unicorn that we talk about, Mobley, just comes into effect like we've just been waiting on all our lives, right? then he won't necessarily have to even be having that big of a load. My thing is this: if you look at where the Cavs are right now, they had Donovan Mitchell. They had all these young dudes in their prime. They got smoked by Jalen Brunson in the Knicks. I don't care nothing about that. You saw where LeBron was at? Western Conference Finals.
Yep.
You saw where the Cavs were? First round to the bum Knicks. At the end of the day, who's better, the Lakers or the Cavs?
The Lakers. Not close. Not close.
Why would I argue? Why would I argue against that?
I'm still stuck on the fact that you're willing to trade Donovan Mitchell, a guy
He's not gonna be here.
for a guy that the other one's not going to be here.
At most, LeBron's got
The other one's not going to be here. He's going to be here for 1 year.
If you had, my thing is who are if you got Donovan Mitchell on this roster or LeBron James on this roster,
who's a better chance to win the title?
who has a better chance of winning the title?
Probably LeBron.
That's the only I'm going.
But
I'm going with the Jaylen Brown. I'm not trading.
I'm with you.
Not,
yeah.
I'm not taking. I'm not. If that's 1 year, what is that going to do?
if I could the Jaylen Brown trade, I'd take that.
Okay. Well, thank you.
That's
okay.
my number
That's
one.
what I
You
need.
know
All
what?
right. That's what I
We are
needed
now
to hear.
in unison.
Right.
Thank
It is
you.
time,
Okay.
Anthony. What's up, my friend?